Let me share my screen. Okay. Sharing now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that I don't get confused, I will do this. I will move. Yeah. Okay. So hi everyone. I guess I can start, Lily.
Just let me just welcome everyone who is in the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know we are live on Facebook, and I've turned my volume down on Facebook so that we don't have that echo. So I don't know whether there's anyone on Facebook that can confirm that they can get us. We have a number of people who are joining us from that end.
Yes, I can see it live on Facebook.
Can you be able to hear us? I've just turned my volume down on Facebook so that we avoid the echo. Edwin, kindly confirm for us that.
I can hear you loud and clear. There's no echo on Facebook.
There's no echo on Facebook. Thank you so much for that. So we'd like to welcome everyone for this CV writing workshop. Eunice, we have a number of few students who are going to complete university in the next few months. And we thought it wise to, as a process of preparing to join the job market, to have their CVs right. And of course, that is the first step in entering into the job market. Of course, we've been having these students they've been on our program for over, say, 8 years, because we pick students mostly from primary school, we take them to high school, and now they're university, and we're proud to be seeing them through. So during that time, we've been giving them some work experience here and there just to prepare them again. And we feel this is one of the steps that we need to do. Guys, allow me to introduce to you Moja Tu. Moja Tu is a non-profit organization that is based in the US, and it provides educational scholarships to children in developing countries. Moja Tu believes that education is the most important tool to fight poverty because it empowers students, giving them knowledge and skills they need to build successive futures and help end the cycle of poverty in their community. So for us to believe, when we educate a student, we're not just empowering that student, but we're empowering their families and we're empowering their communities. We have quite a number of graduates who are also already out in the job market. And this year we're going to release the next cohort, even as we prepare now for, we also have around 10 students who will be joining university that did their KCSE recently. So once again, I'd like to invite everyone to this meeting, and Eunice, you can take over. Before you start, guys, allow me to introduce Eunice. Just a minute. So Eunice is a communications and social media specialist, and currently she's manager content generation at Safaricom PLC. Her immediate former role was with the UN Environment Program, UNEP, HQ in Nairobi, Kenya, where she served as a social media and content consultant. Eunice has extensive hands-on experience in organizational communications and media management across a range of sectors, that is health, science, environment, technology, financial services, and development. Her expertise includes multimedia, editorial development, stakeholder management, internal communications, social media, and digital publishing. She is fascinated with newer forms of storytelling and content creation, generation, and sharing. Beyond writing, she creates a monthly video series, #Kalundelance, an online storytelling platform for creators. The monthly video series affords you a front row seat to learn how people have turned their passion into a lifestyle and a living. In her free time, she likes to work with people to review their CVs and cover letters. So indeed, we have the right person on board. And Eunice, I think we're going to invite you for the next meeting to just let us know how to write cover letters. Take it away.
Actually, you guys are in luck because I figured I would bring both the CV and cover letter so that we have it at one go. But I'm more than happy to come back and talk to you. As Lily has introduced me, and I mean, I'm Eunice. I love to tell stories. But when I'm not telling stories, I love to help people with their CVs and cover letters. Why? Because I know how important this is. And in fact, on Wednesday this week, I had a chat with a family friend, and she was telling me, Eunice, how did you know how to do all these cover letters and CVs and stuff? And I told them, really, for me, it was out of a need. I sent horrible cover letters when I was in campus. Horrible, I'm not even kidding. And when I learned how to do them, I said, I won't keep that skill to myself. I will, if I get an opportunity to share it, I will share it. And hence why the question there is, are you ready? Now that you're going to be graduating in a few months, in a couple of months, are you ready for what the job market is looking for? I'm hoping that from this discussion, oh, sorry guys, just give me a minute, just a second. Sorry, guys. So what happened? I was tethering on my phone and then a phone call came through. Okay, I'm back now. My sincere apologies for that. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Let me just try and not get any calls coming in. Okay, yeah, so as I mentioned, for me, my interest in helping people do their CVs comes from a place of personal experience, that you could have the best qualifications, you could have the best skills, but people don't know about this, unless you put it in your cover letter and in your CV. And I'm hoping that you'll pick useful lessons from this session for you to use. And this slides will be available with Lily, so she'll circulate this around. But then again, anyone can reach out to me. I'm more than happy to share them with you and to hold your hand to do them. A disclaimer though, I don't do your CV, I only guide you to do it. So I'll give you pointers, I'll give you tips, I'll give you guidance, but I won't do your CV. So you have to put in the work. It's not my CV, it's yours, so we have to work together. Okay, so now that I've said that, and I appreciate what Moja Tu is doing for young people, like young people in this on this call, giving them an opportunity they're teaching them how to. You're being taught how to fish. You're not being given fish to eat once and then you need to go back. So and this is very important. The skills that they're giving to you, and the opportunities they're also offering. And so when you're thinking about, are you ready for the job market, I need us to think through some of the critical skills that you will need for you to move forward. So regardless of whatever course you're doing, if you're doing finances, if you're doing financing, if you're doing accounting, if you're doing communications, regardless, these are the skills, guys, you need. You will need skills in writing. And it doesn't have to be over the top kind of writing, some of the work that some of us do as journalists. But you need to be able to put your thoughts concisely in text and put them in a way that someone can understand. This will help you if you're going to be doing reports, which you will be doing for the jobs that you're going to take up. So you need to have good writing skills. And for me, it's at the top. If you cannot write, then you cannot express yourself properly. And you'll see how this is important also for your CV and in your cover letter. You need to have digital media and communication skills. All of us, we have a phone. So already you're halfway there in that digital media and communication skills. You need to have those, you need to be able to see what is digital media, what does it mean, how can I use it for, regardless of whatever qualifications that you have. You need to be aware of cross-cultural communication. And here cross-cultural means you're aware of different cultures and being sensitive to those cultures so that you're not saying something that is insensitive and then people could shut off. You need to be critical and creative in your thinking. You need to have research and data analysis. And this bit on research and data analysis will be very important when you go to your cover letter, because the cover letter, as we'll talk, you'll discover is about knowing the organization you're applying to and being able to speak to them in words and keywords that they understand. You need to be adaptive and innovative. So I'll give you a short story about myself. When I came to Nairobi from Mombasa, I came to study political science and communications. That was what I came to do, and a minor in literature. However, I ended up in journalism. I ended up, not that I knew I was going to be a journalist, but I was able to adapt. At the moment I realized, you know what, the skills that I'm getting in schools, I can turn them around, I can be innovative with them, and then I can do something better with them. So think about the skills that you guys have right now. If you're doing your bachelor's or you're doing your diploma, how can you adapt the skills that you have into your into the job market? Because you'd be surprised, some of the things you learn in school, it's important, it's good for you to have those skills, but you need to pair them with something else to survive in the job market. The other skills that you need to be collaborative and aware of teamwork. You can't do anything on your own out here. You have to work with other people. So you need to be able to be alive to that. Otherwise, you will struggle to fit into the workplace. You need to be able to be a public speaker and be good in listening, because most of the work that you're going to be doing is going to be, Eunice, can you do for us a report? Eunice, can you write, can you do an analysis of da. So you need to be able to listen properly, not to respond, but to internalize and then to use that to respond to the need that is what is required in a more comprehensive way. You need to be emotionally intelligent, and you'll see how important this is, especially when you go to new workplaces where people won't understand you. I mean, you're a young person, you're there, you're thinking, I deserve everything life has to offer. my friends, you will have to work hard for some of those things. You need to be emotionally intelligent, not to, not to lose focus of what it is that you're keeping your sight on by being thrown off when something doesn't work your way. So you need to be emotionally intelligent to pick nuances in your workplaces and the people you're interacting with. So you can tell when someone is over-promising you, then you can tell, no, this one will not work. You need to be very proactive. Being proactive is you're able to anticipate a need before it happens. So even in the workplace, even when you're applying for something, being able to anticipate, this is what, with the skills that I have, I think these guys will need someone who can do 1, 2, 3. So being able to anticipate that. And above all, have empathy, because the world is tough. You need to be able to put yourself in other people's shoes. When your boss is asking you to do something, be empathetic and ask yourself, okay, what does this mean? And even on the other side, if you're going to be a boss, and I pray most of us, all of us will be bosses at some point, is that you have empathy for younger people, for interns who are going to come in like ourselves right now, and to work with them and not say, oh, I'll need to spend so much time with these guys to hold their hand. Now that we know, these are some of the key skills. So my friends, if you can take a screenshot, take this, read about it, research about it, but I'll share this as well. These are the skills you need in the job market. Without this, you'll be like a square peg in a round hole. You'll struggle to fit in. You'll really struggle. So now let's jump straight into your CV. Your CV is your personal marketing document, okay? And here, personal marketing document means if you are a product, and you will discover this in the job market, you're all selling something. You're all saying, pick me, pick me, pick me. So it is your personal marketing document. It's that document that says, look, I am the best candidate for this job. I am the best that you need. This is why I am the best. So it is all about you guys. So for your CV and your resume, it's all about me, 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 me. I am the best. I have studied. I have this skill. I have this experience. It's about you. And you see the distinction between a CV and when you go to your cover letter is about their organizations. It's about them. CV, it's about you. So you'll see how this will be very important when you're thinking about the different parts of the CV. Now that you know it's about you, here are some of the sections of a CV, and it will help you structure, because a CV is all about structure. You can't be telling people, my name is Eunice, I am doing this, and then it's all over the place. So your education comes here, before you know it, you're something else. So it has to be very structured, because what with the structured CV, what that is telling your recruiter is that you can plan yourself. You have a sense of priorities. What is most important? What should someone, if they forget everything else about me, they need to know who I am, what I'm about. So then you need to have a header where you have your name. So Eunice Kilonzo, professional title, multimedia storyteller, your email address correctly. So if your email address, if you set up an email address and you say have something like hotbabes59@gmail, please change it, make it professional and have it in your name. So if it is Kamau Shege or Mwendo Adoris, or Mwendo Adoris at Gmail or at Yahoo or at Outlook, whatever, so that it's very, very professional. I mean, it's you're selling yourself. You don't want the recruiter to ask themselves, who is hotbabes56? I can't tell who that is, okay? And then if you have a LinkedIn, so LinkedIn, for those who do not know, LinkedIn it's like a social media platform, but for job seekers or for people, like a professional social media. So that's where you put in your job and such. So then you could also include a link to your LinkedIn page. That way, whichever page someone opens or your CV, they'll get to see you. They'll get to click and they'll get to go to your LinkedIn. So if that goes without saying that you need to update your social media presence. So if you've not set up your LinkedIn, it's very simple. It's almost like setting up Facebook. So you can go in, just search LinkedIn and then create account, and you can do all that. So it's something that you can do. Include your professional bio. And in the next slide, I'll show you how to do a professional bio. It simply is who you are in a way that could be who you are currently or who you aspire to be. And I'll show you how to do this. You need to, in your CV, you also need to include a bit on the skills. And here the skills is very important because it's basically the keywords for the job. So if you're an accountant, for instance, or you're in environmental science, some of your keywords would be, climate change, some of your keywords would be, so you find keywords that are tied to the job that you also aspire to have, or you aspire, or you already have. So you include that as well. The other thing is to include your education. So I know some of us are graduating in 2 months or so. So your current you need to start with your current. So University of Nairobi, Bachelor of Arts, but you don't need to include the grades. And then because you yet to get so much work experience or education experience, then you bring in your high school. Please do not include your primary school details. It is assumed if you're already in college, in university, you came through primary school. So you don't need to state the obvious. Don't include your primary school details there. Don't include your grades, because what that could do, unless you got an A and you're in the papers, I'm kidding, but still don't put your grades, because that's already, it can, if let's say you got a D minus, for instance, and you put it there, and someone is looking at it and they're like, oh, this person has nice skills, and then they come there and they say a D minus, they're like, I don't know, they might just disqualify you, but you have much more to offer. So don't include your grades. Whatever happens, you can talk about it when you're invited for the interview and they ask, but you don't have to put it out there. Work experience, include internship. So if you've done any internship, whether it is paid or not paid, and I will tell you, for work, especially after campus or after college, you might be struggling with getting an internship, or you might be struggling, or you might be looking for an internship that pays. If you can get something that does not pay, take it, because it will build your skills. It will build, you remember the skills you talked about in the beginning, the critical skill, it will build some of those, and those are very important for you. So take up internships. And then when you're including them in your CV, don't say, don't state your job description. As an intern, I did 1, 2, 3, 4. Show what you were able to achieve with the tasks that you were given. So if they told you as an intern, you're supposed to write weekly reports. Say, in the past 6 months, or since my internship, I have done 15 reports, and they have been able to inform the business in one. So you're showing what you've been able to do. And then in your CV, include a section on voluntary work. We want to see people, employers want to get people who can do work, they can serve the community they work in. So you don't look like you're only taking, but you're also giving back to the community. Include your portfolio. And portfolio here means if you're a photographer, for instance, and you have your photos on a website, include a link to that. So that's your portfolio. That's your proof to show that you have that skill, okay? And then if you have any awards, but don't include awards from primary school, because you are beyond that. You don't need to say, I was the best prefect in my year. You don't need to include that at that point. And then you need to include references. So references are basically people who can attest that they know your qualifications or your skills. So references here could be your lecturers, your current lecturers, and you don't just put many people. You could even have just 3 people. So include their details, and I'll show you in the next page how to include what details of your references. These are important because when someone is looking to hire you, they do not know you, but they want to hear from someone who has worked with you, who has known you. So put people who can speak good and they can talk about your qualifications. Don't put people who will say, no, if you employ Eunice, she will not come to work every day. You don't want someone who's going to smear for you your CV and your that. And now, once you know the different sections, so the header, professional bio, your skills, education, work experience, voluntary, and such, and then ending it with your references, then how you save it, how you save your CV matters. Remember when you talked about hotbabes56@gmail.com, you don't want your CV to be hotbabes, or you don't want your CV to be CV1 June. You want your CV to speak in a professional way, just as you have in the contents of it. So you need to put in your name. So how I would save it would be Eunice Kilonzo _ my professional title is communications specialist _ the year that I'm applying for this job, 2021, or the year this CV is updated, 2021. Or you could include the job title. This way, if it goes to the recruiter, these guys get, a recruiter can get almost 100 applications a day. How can they tell that in these CVs that I'm looking for the communication specialists if they cannot tell from your CV, from how you've saved your CV? So be very aware of that. If your CV is saved as CV1 CV underscore dot, no, just clean it up, make it clean, because it shows, again, it shows that you're attentive to detail. It shows that you're well prepared for the job. It shows that you can take on leadership and you can plan yourself. I want to talk about the things that you should not include. Do not include your gender. If you have anything about I am male or female, please remove it. Being male or female or intersex does not help you do your job. Okay, so do not include it. If anything, sometimes it can be used against you. It can be used, let's say you're applying for a job as a woman, as a young woman, and an organization will say, I know, you know, sometimes when we hire these young people, they don't stay for long. They'll get married, they'll start having kids. So you don't want people to start judging you because of your sex. So, and I mean your gender, remove it. If you have anything about you are single, being single will not help you do your job, remove it. Or being married will not make you do your job, or even your religion, to the point there. Being a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu will not help you do your job unless the job is at a church and they want a Christian. Then you'll package it in that way. You don't need to include your postal box. Who receives letters anymore? Just your email address and your mobile number is good enough. Unless you're applying for a modeling job and they explicitly said they needed your picture, do not include a picture on your CV, because that could be the picture that is not cleaner. I mean, it's not clean, it's pixelated, and then someone will be thinking, I don't know, is it that they have a bad phone? You don't want to have people thinking negatively about your profile. So remove your picture. And more importantly, especially for us young people, please remove your age. The jobs that you see and they say, oh, you need to have 5 years experience. You just came out of campus. You don't have 5 years experience, and someone might start calculating and they say, oh, if they were born in 1994 or they were born in 2004, then it means you don't want that. You don't want to be discriminated because you're either too young or you're too old. Remove your age. Do include links of you know, remember what I talked about your portfolio, or if there's something that has been you've been featured in a newspaper or something, I don't know, receiving or an advert or something that you did, include those links, okay? Because that is the only way you support your claim that you're the best. Include references, and here references, as I mentioned, have about 3 people. Include their name, so check that their name is correct. Include their title, so if it's your lecturer, literature professor, University of Nairobi, include their email number, include their mobile number. And I would advise that you include the mobile number with the prefix +254. Why this is important is because you're not just applying for Kenyan jobs. You're not just a Kenyan professional. You're thinking about it on a global level. So start thinking, packaging yourself as a global professional, okay? So include the name, title, email, mobile number with the +254, and then alert your referees that you're adding them on your CV. You don't want your referee to be called and they say, Eunice, I spoke to them, I don't know, 5 months ago. You don't want that. So keep them, when you apply, let them know that, look, I have included you, and this is what this guy might reach out to you. For your font size, for your name at the top, the header, remember this part where we talked about, sorry, let me just go back. Oh, sorry. Oh. Okay. On the header, your header has to be prominent. So you put it in font 18 so that it's very prominent, and then the other things, the body can come in at all. So then it's very visually appealing, okay? Now I'll go to how to do your professional bio. Professional bio, simply, it's a vision statement. If you had one sentence to introduce yourself, what would you say? Think about it this way. If someone meets you for the first time now and they tell you, oh, so Eunice, tell me about yourself. You don't start saying, oh, I'm a young girl, or I'm a young woman, I'm 15 years or I'm 21 years old. You don't go that way. You talk about who you are in the sense of what is aspirational. It could be, I'm aspiring to be a diplomat, I'm aspiring to be a manager, so you speak about it that way. So your professional bio should be enough to capture your years of experience, your skills. Remember the skills that you talked about, what you promised to deliver. So you can use this on your CV, you can use it in your cover letter, and you can use this on your social media platforms. You want to have consistency across all your documents. Someone is to land on your page on LinkedIn, they'll find the same thing. If they land on your Twitter, they'll find the same thing, whichever, so that there's consistency across the board. I will show you how to do a professional bio. I've done a sample here. If there's someone in this who's listening in and they are an upcoming self-taught multimedia content creator. So this is your professional bio. Upcoming self-taught multimedia content creator with an eye for photography, digital marketing, and development. You can screenshot this and you can replace these words with whatever fits your description. It could be upcoming financial, upcoming investor, financial advisor, with an interest in family businesses, so you can tweak it to speak to who you are and what you aspire to be. This particular paragraph, this particular paragraph will be very important in your cover letter because it will be like your intro. An intro is your first para in your cover letter, and I'll show you how to do that. So think about your qualifications. If you're doing, let me see, if you're doing architecture, for instance, so you could, because you're yet to get the experience and the skills, you can say upcoming, architect, with an interest in sustainable buildings or something, so that it captures in one sentence. If you introduce yourself, you introduce yourself in those words. Okay. So that's how you do your CV. Okay. So now, before I don't know if we are okay up to that point. Maybe guys can put on chat. Maybe if up until that point, some can put yes, we are okay on the chat, so that I know I've not lost anyone. Just one person is enough for me to know that I'm not losing people. So if someone could just say yes, we can proceed to the next part. Someone? Anyone? Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Dinelle. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, David. Okay, Sawa. Thank you. Thanks for that. Okay, so now that we know how to do your CV, I want to introduce you to CV's cousin or CV's friend, the cover letter. The cover letter is all about the job. The CV is about Eunice, me, I am the best. Cover letter is about the job. And you'll see why this is important. It's all about the job because you're speaking to the organization. You're telling them, look, I have these skills that will do this for your job or will do this for this role. So you need to be able to, for the cover letter, you need to research the organization. If you're applying to Safaricom, for instance, Safaricom is more than airtime, is more than phone calls, it's more than internet. You need to research the organization to know exactly what those guys do. And then you also need to research their role. So if you're applying to, let's say, to Coca-Cola are looking for a communications assistant. You need to research the role of communication, I mean, the organization, what Coca-Cola does, or what, I don't know, Brookside does, selling milk and other dairy products. And then you need to research about the role. So the role, they've done part of the research for you through the job description. It tells you, we need someone who can do 1, 2, 3. We need someone with 1, 2, 3 skills. They've already done somewhat like a preliminary research for you, but you need to go deep and ask yourself, if these guys are looking for communications assistant at Brookside, are there other communications assistants in other organizations, and are their jobs similar to this? And if they are different, what can I do or what can I add onto this application to make me stand out? Okay. So you need to research. I will tell you guys this, please, if you see someone sending you a job on WhatsApp or whichever platform, and they're like, Eunice, there's this job, or, Dinelle, there's this job, apply for it immediately. Please don't fight that temptation to apply immediately without doing a research on the job. You could even apply and you discover you could even research on the organization and you discover it's not something that you want to do for the rest of your life. It could be something you just want to do for the short while to get the experience and move on. So please do your research. Don't be, I know you could be desperate. You're thinking, I need to get a job as quickly as possible. I need to get a job. In as much as you need to get a job as quickly as possible, please do not make the mistake of not knowing who you're applying to, because you could get yourself into an organization that does not fit your style. And then you'd go there and you'll struggle, and it's toxic. Work environments are horrible. You won't grow. You will constantly be drained. So research the organization. And by researching here, you need to go to their website. you need to check them out on their social media. Most of these organizations are on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on wherever. Look them up so that you're not caught by surprise. You don't see something, then you're like, I didn't know this is how these guys, how these guys work or something like that. So you need to research, and I'll keep emphasizing on this. Please, when you get a job application, do not apply in a rush. Take your time. Take it. And that's why you see job applications they don't ask for someone to apply today and tomorrow. They usually have about a week or 2 weeks to give you time to look at them, look them up, see if this is something that fits you. If it doesn't, you don't have to apply. Okay. Now that we know that the cover letter is about the job, these are the parts. Let me just move this away from that. So these are the parts of a cover letter. And I know most of our universities don't teach us any of these things. So you learn out here. Sometimes you don't even learn properly. Sometimes you copy other people's CVs or cover letters and you copy the wrong thing. I am more than happy again to share this because I learned the hard way. By the time I was doing a proper CV, I learned the hard way, guys. So, and for me, that's why I'm very passionate about making sure that your CV and your cover letter is really good, because it's going to go a long way to helping you get a good job and the best job there is. So your cover letter, this is how your cover letter would look like. So I know in was it high school, we used to do letters in composition. We used to say, put everything left aligned. I think there's a time they say left, right, keep it left, because you want the eye to flow from the top to the bottom easily. So you put your address. So your name, Eunice Kilonzo, my email address, kalundethescribe@gmail.com, and then my phone number +254 that, and then below it, you put the date of your application, the date that you're applying for that job. And then underneath it, you put the name of the organization you're applying to. Please do not be tempted to send the same cover letter to all organizations. If we go back to this, where is that? If we go back to this, it's all about the job. And this job is not the same in all the organizations. They are very different. So do not get the temptation of, I have one standard cover letter, I send it to all. I send it to Coca-Cola, I send it to Safaricom, I send it to HP, please. Cover letter is for that particular job. So put the name of the organization. That way, when the hiring manager is reading, they'll say, oh, this person took time to read about us. They took time to even address us directly, okay? So have that at the top, well aligned. Then below it, you put ref. The ref is really reference, the exact title of the role. Why this is important is because some organizations will call it communications assistant. Others, they'll call them internal communications officer. So there are different titles for different roles. So be very exact, because even when you're typing out the title, you'll be able to know, okay, so I'm applying for a job as financial audit assistant. You will be able to internalize it so that it's easier. Even when you're talking about it, when they invite you for an interview, you're not caught by surprise. They ask you, did you apply for this job at Kenya Breweries? And you have no idea what job, because you sent so many cover letters to different people, so you don't even know what is what. So take your time, do a good cover letter. The first paragraph that goes onto the cover letter is your professional bio. Remember this professional bio that we did over here. This is the first paragraph that you include there. So how would this look like on your cover letter? My name, so dear hiring manager, my name is Eunice Kilonzo. I'm an upcoming self-taught multimedia, I'm excited to apply for this role. You see how everything fits in place. So nothing is done in waste. Everything fits together. So you do your professional bio and then speak. I am excited that this role, as this title over here, as then your next communications assistant, is something that I'm passionate about, because with this role, I'll be able to achieve your vision as the organization or the company. Your vision is transforming lives, or your mission is improving society, something. So you see, you're being very tailored. So if you're applying to the UN, for instance, and you're applying to UNEP, UNEP is involved in United Nations Environmental Program. It's involved in environmental issues. So you talk about their vision as per the environment, mission as per the environment. If you're going to apply to Safaricom, it's technology, vision as per technology, mission. So it's very tailored. Okay. Para 2 and 3, you can also take a screenshot of this page. Para 2 and 3 answers the job description. So JD here means the job description by showing how you are qualified for the role with reference to your experience and other self-taught skills. So now look at the job description as a question. You know how we used to do when you're doing KCSE or you're doing your questions, there's a question, what is 1, 2, 3? And then you provide the answer. 1, 2, 3 is da, 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 da. So the job description is a question. Think of it like a question paper. And then your cover letter is now your answer sheet. So if they say, we're looking for someone who can do, who can be doing analysis of our weekly data on 1 to 3, that is the question. Your answer would be, in my previous role or in my university, I learned how to do data analysis for, so you say, so there's a question and then there's an answer that your cover letter is answering. So that's the first, that's the second and the third paragraph. The fourth paragraph is you pick something about the organization. So you need to do your research, guys. You're not going to wake up in the morning, see something in 10 minutes, you've applied. No. Pick something about the organization. So you've done your research, you know that, let's say, World Food Program is looking for, you know, their ambition or their vision is to make sure that there's secure, safe food for everyone. For instance, just giving an example, it's not exact as what they do. So now you pick something about the organization. Their passion is to make sure that people get secure, timely food. And now you tell them, because I want to come in as your financial audit assistant, I will be able to help you come up with the data or the information for us to be able to provide food in a more secure, adequate 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. What this paragraph is doing for you is that it's telling the organization, I know about you. I know some of the things that you're passionate about, and I want to come in. I'm looking forward to learning and working in. So if you can even throw in names, you can say, from my research of your organization, I saw that the head of department, Mr. or Mrs. Eunice Kilonzo, is she's the one leading. I look forward to working with Mrs. Eunice Kilonzo in 1, 2, 3, 4. It shows them that you have known who they are. You're passionate about the organization. You're not doing an application just because. All these nice things you have to say in a cover letter have to be in one page from top to bottom, one page. So you need to be able to use, remember the skill I talked about, the writing. You need to be able to write very succinctly. At this point, I would not tell you to go beyond 2 pages because you guys are starting out. You do not have experience of, I don't know, 5, 7 years experience. So keep it within 1 page. Once you become, you know, you get into pursue your master's or whatever, you get more skills, then you can go. But even then, even for that point, you don't go beyond 2 pages. If you go to a 3rd page already, now you're doing something else. You're doing articles and everything. You don't need to go that, because again, remember, there are 100 of you that are applying. A HR person does not have the whole day to read through your entire 2 pages or 3 pages so that they can know you are the best, you're the best. No, okay? And then again, like we did with the CV, save it in your name, your professional title, the year of when you're writing this, and the job title. This way, if the HR people need to download your cover letter and send it to other people within their teams, they can say, oh, have you received Eunice's? It is easier for them to remember your name compared to all the other 100 people who are applying. So everything, as you can tell, is all strategic. You have to be strategic in how you do your application. Don't be in a rush, guys. You could be desperate. You're like, I need to get a job immediately. If you need to get a job immediately, you should have started doing that letter 2 weeks ago. So you need to plan in advance. Like we did with the cover letter, the do's, the CV, the do's in your cover letter, tailor it to the specific role and include keywords. And the keywords you'll find from the job description. Do not have typos or hanging sentences because it shows you're not attentive to detail. If you even misspell your own name, you misspell the name of the organization, you misspell the title of that, that's what I was telling you, put the exact, even if you need to copy it and paste it there in, do it so that you're not introducing typos. The moment you have typos on your cover letter, the HR person will simply just throw away your CV and your documents and they'll start working on someone else's who is consistent and proper in their writing. Okay, and for you to watch out on the typos, there's a site I would advise you to look out. It's called Grammarly. So it's grammar, like grammar as we know it, and then it has an ly at the end. It's free to use. So you basically pick your texts. If it is your cover letter, copy all of it, go to Grammarly, paste it, and then it will tell you this part, this sentence is wrong. So it will help you in editing you don't want to have wrong. And I know for sure if I am recruiting and I'm recruiting a writer and you send me something that is either hanging sentences or you're throwing in some saying words or some words that I cannot understand, I won't hire you. Okay, don't repeat your CV or your resume in your cover letter. You've noticed that your cover letter is not repeating what your CV is saying. It might allude to your CV, but it does not repeat it. Okay, and then please show that your skills are global. So what I mean here is we are, as Kenyan students, as Kenyan professionals, we are part of the larger global world. And being part of the larger global world means that you don't say, you don't just do very basic things, in the sense of my skills are, I know Turkana County. For someone who's in a global setting, Turkana does not make sense to them. You could turn it around and say, I have experience with working with, county governments from a regional level and with experience of working from a national government, so that you're showing them you're not just localized, you're not just a Kenyan professional, you are a global professional. So now that you know how to do your CV, the elements of the CV, now that you know how to do your cover letter, the elements of your cover letters, the do's and the don'ts, where will you get these jobs? Where will you get these nice jobs? And before I even talk about where you get these nice jobs, I will tell this to those who are about to graduate. Please be ambitious, but don't be over the top. In the sense of, be ambitious. I want to get, I want to work in XYZ organization. I want to do 1 to 3, but be very realistic with what you are expecting to be paid. So if you're a young person, the most experience that you have is, let's say, your campus now, and then maybe you did a voluntary job and you have 1 or 2, 3 years experience, but then you're here, when they ask you how much do you want to be paid or what you need, you're telling them, I need you guys to pay me 1 million. I need to start driving a car in 3 months. I'm sorry, I'll have to be the person to break the bad news to you. That will not happen. You need to start from somewhere and grow incrementally. So you will not, I will tell you for free, when I left campus in, that was in 2013, in May 2013, and I joined Nation Media Group as a journalist, us guys were paid just enough to move from our houses, to come to the office, and then to have enough to save for a rainy day, just enough. At no point did my employer at the time tell me that I will pay you enough money for you to buy a Range Rover in 1 year. It will not happen. Or for you to buy a house in 2 years. It will not happen. So put your expectations in check. Do not be too ambitious. Have the ambition, but check them. Check that ambition. If it's not realistic, you will be disappointed. You will not deliver. You'll be sad. You'll struggle. It won't work for you. So be realistic. But now back to, where do you get these jobs? You want to get a job in auditing. You want to get a job in farming. You want to get, where do you get these jobs? I will tell you, for you to get a job, you have to get social. And for you to get social is on 2 levels. Physically, social in terms of your networks. Who do you know? Now that you're beneficiaries of Moja Tu, that's a very good network. Look up their partners, reach out to their partners, and I'm sure there are modalities of how you can do this, and Lily will advise. So you need to get social, get people to know, let people know your skills, your qualifications, and your aspirations in terms of interest. So you need to get social. So if you say, oh, the job will find me, bad news, it will not. Jobs don't find people. Sometimes they do, but most times you have to find them yourself. So you need to get social. And also in getting social, also getting on social media. So on LinkedIn, as I mentioned in the beginning, on your Facebook, on your WhatsApp, on Twitter, for those who can join Twitter or you would be interested to join Twitter, join different social media platforms, including TikTok. I mean, TikTok has so many opportunities for you to start thinking about jobs in a different way. So join social media platforms and be there intentionally with the ambition that I want to learn, I want to build my networks. There's this saying that says your networks is your net worth. Okay, so the networks, the people that you know, the networks that you know will go a long way. One, to build your skills, the ones that we talked about in the beginning, to review your CV and to get you into your new job. So start thinking about it and be very intentional. If the networks do not serve you, it's okay by day to leave them. If you're part of a network or a group and you're saying, this one is not, I'm not growing, it's okay for you to say, this is not serving me now, let me leave, okay? So get social. And then as I wrap up, if you forget everything else about what I've talked about in terms of your CV and your cover letter, get social. By getting social, you get to learn from other people. You also get to see their CVs, you get to see their job descriptions and, organizations. So you get to learn how to improve yourself, your skills and how to present yourself. You need to start thinking global. Please do not think that Kenya is big enough. There's a whole world of, there are over 194 countries. There are 193 countries that are waiting for you to explore. So do not limit yourself and say, oh, Mimi, I will only be a Kenyan, I'll only work in Kenya. Don't. This world is too big for you to only have Kenyan small dreams. If you can stay in Kenya, well and good. But if you can, start thinking global. And the best way for you to start thinking global is getting on social and also interacting with people who, people who you aspire to be like. So start thinking global. And I will tell you this, always stay curious. Don't think that because you have your first degree that you have learned all that you need to learn. Oh, my friends, you have not learned. If anything, that your first degree or your first diploma is just a small little step into the world. There's a lot more to learn. So in still staying curious, if you see there's a course that is being offered online, and most of them are free, sign up, do it, build your skills. If you get into networks and you hear people are saying, oh, we have this workshop, anyone who's interested, and it's something in line with what you want to be, aspire to be, or just curiosity, go in and learn. That is the only way you will learn. That is the only way you'll grow your skills. I have gotten to where I have gotten, by staying curious, by saying, you know what, it's not enough that I have my first degree from the University of Nairobi. Currently, I'm still studying. I'm at Strathmore, I'm doing a professional course because I know learning never stops. So even for you now, you might be thinking, oh, but I've gotten my degree, I'm good, the world, the market is ready for me. Wow, okay, let me tell you, you are, so many of you who are graduating, not just in Kenya, globally, and you're all more or less fighting for the same job. So you need to stay curious and find ways to be adaptive and innovative in your skills, okay? Yeah, so that's it, guys. That's me. My name is Eunice. Again, as I mentioned, I'm a storyteller, I'm a writer, and I'm a content generation manager at Safaricom. That's my, at Eunice Kilonzo, you'll find me on most of my social media platforms on that. And if you need to reach out, if you need guidance, if you need pointers, you can drop me a line on my Gmail, and I'm more than happy to assist. But then if you're writing to me, know that we are working together. You're not giving me your job to edit your CV. You are going to put in the work. I am going to review and hold your hand. I'm going to end it at that. Thank you very much. Let me stop sharing. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eunice, for that very enlightening session. I'm sure we've gained lots, even some of us who've been in the workplace for years. So just a few pointers that Eunice has mentioned that I'd like to reiterate. One is volunteership. Please look for, if you can't get an internship, you can ask the organization whether you can volunteer. This will really help to build on your CV. The other thing that I'd like to point out is if you want to write up guidance on writing your cover letter or even most of the CV, go on Canva. Canva is an app, and just CANVA that you can. There's so many. I know nowadays I've seen so many organizations asking for one-page CVs, and you're there wondering with your Microsoft Word, how am I going to fit all this into one page? So when you go to Canva, it will show you all that. The other thing that maybe Eunice, I'd like you to take us through, even as we wait to take a few questions here and there, is how do you sign out on a cover letter? And again, before you answer that, I'd like to, you mentioned something about professional courses. So when you go online, and I think this was accelerated by the COVID-19 and people going online and whatnot, there are so many online courses. And I think some of them, I'm a marketing communications person. So for me, I think HubSpot has really come in handy. So when you just type free online courses in whatever field, you know, whatever, I think something that I've learned after coming out of university and even having done my master's is that you're really not taught enough in school. And these online courses are curated for those job-specific courses that you may need when you're working. So Eunice, kindly take us, how do you sign out on a cover letter? Yes, for the rest, you can raise your hand. I'm going to give you an opportunity, or you can type your question in the chat box. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, so for your cover letter, after you've done your 4 paras, the intro, para 2 and 3 about how you are responding to the job, para 4, what you're looking for to work in the job, you can sign off and say, I thank you for your time, for the opportunity to, you know, to submit my application for this job. I'm available on my number provided above or on my email address, and I look forward to hearing from you. You don't even have to do so many things. Basically, think about it this way: you are introducing yourself to someone, so you don't have to go into the details of No, make it simple, because the simpler it is, the better. Because you are competing with many people. So make it simple, make it memorable. That's why I will tell you that is a trick that has worked for me. Being able to speak to the organization, because when they look at they see themselves. So keep it simple, sign off very easily, and then very simply. And then when you're signing out at the end, yours sincerely or yours faithfully or kind or warm regards, just put your one name. You don't need to put 2 names, and you don't need to put a full stop at the end, because your name is already at the top. You know, so it's Eunice Kilonzo, then when you're signing out, it's Eunice end. You don't need to put a full stop. You also don't need to put your ID number, knowing that ID number. No, you're not applying for, I don't know, whatever. Don't put your ID number, and then don't put your signature. So don't put anything that is that would be identifiable in the sense of that could be used. You know, I mean, they're fraudsters. They're people who are also asking people to apply so that they can get your name, your ID number. For those who unfortunately put it there, or your mobile number, then you have all these details about you. I mean, what stops someone from setting up accounts under your name? So make sure that you're being very strategic in how you're doing it. Yeah. And then the other thing, Lily, you had spoke about platforms for learning. Guys, there are so many opportunities online for free, like for free. You don't even need to pay anyone. And if COVID has taught us anything, is that you just need to look out beyond your nose to see the opportunities that exist. So if you're passionate about something, it could be out of your field. You don't have to, just because you studied communication, you don't have to do communications. You can do communications, and then you can end up in science. And then you can be able to combine those skills, and there are courses specifically for that. You can combine this skill and this skill like that. Yeah. I think Maurice has a question here. Is it a must I apply a job from another field other than my field? Yes, please apply. Like, if you have the skills for wherever you want to go, apply. If you do not have the skills, I will tell you, start preparing, because also you don't want to put in so much time to apply for something that you'll not get because you do not have the qualifications for it. So if for now, and some of us maybe went to school to study finance because of our parents or because of what people told you, and then you go there and then you discover, I don't think I want to be in finance, or I don't think I want to be a teacher. So be able to say, okay, I can turn this around. So yes, you can apply from another field other than your field of specialty. If you have the skills, go right ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, Eunice. So I see Joshua's hand up. Joshua, you can unmute and then ask the question.
So my question is, now after I've written my CV, and then I've explained myself who I am in the CV. And then maybe in the organization where I had applied my job, they called me for an interview.
Hi, Joshua.
And then when I get to the interview, they are. How should I answer that question? What comes to?
Sorry,
Yeah.
we missed you.
So I'm saying, after I've written my CV, and then inside the CV I've explained myself who I am. So, and then the CV has gone through, and the organization calls me for an interview. Then when I go for the interview, they ask me, tell us more, tell us about you.
Yes.
What are they looking for me? Because that part comes challenging for some of the people.
Yeah, so I think that's actually a really good question, Joshua, that you have. So the trick I usually tell you to do is when they ask you to tell us a bit more about yourself, please don't get into the temptation of repeating your CV. This is how I would do it. So your CV, my CV says that I'm a communication specialist. My cover letter has applied for this job. They're looking for a communication specialist. So how I'd introduce myself is, remember that professional bio that we had? That small para, you can build on it. You can squeeze it for as many things as possible. So you can say, my name is Eunice Kilonzo. I am a multimedia storyteller. I'm really passionate about, connecting stories and finding people's stories and being able to unpack that for different audiences. So how I've been able to do that over the years, I've been able to tell stories in the newspaper. I've been able to tell some stories on video. And now I'm currently doing a podcast on 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've not entirely spoken about your CV, but you've been able to tell them something about yourself. Because again, when they tell you to tell them about yourself, it still has to be tied to the job. So you don't start, you could, unless they ask you, so what do you do in your free time? Then you can say, oh, in my free time, I play football. It's about yourself, but you need to be sure of the time and place for certain things. So when they ask you, tell us about yourself, please do not get into the temptation of going to your CV. Go to your professional bio and pack it, because it's just one line, but now you have an opportunity to say, so that I can, because I'm passionate about storytelling, I'm also also doing some courses, or I'm involved, I volunteer, without going into the CV like you'd say, like you're enumerating all the things that you've done and achieved in your CV. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I hope that makes sense, Joshua.
Thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, and most of these questions and the responses you will learn as you go for interviews. And also, the bit when I talked about being social, you'll be able to learn from other people. So there are people who, they just produce content around how to ace interviews. So you can pick lessons from some of those guys. So then you prepare for them. Okay, there's someone, I see Sami has a question of a skill that I have learned in the Juakali sector. Is it okay to include it in my CV? It have not learned it in an institution. Yes. Please include it. However, I will tell you, you need to be able to show what exactly that skill is. So let's say if in the Juakali sector, you learned something about how to manage, let's say, for instance, how to manage different kinds of projects. So the skill that you've learned from that sector is that you now have a, like a project management awareness. You see how you're looking at it. So then when you talk about, when you're including it in your skills, you're going to say, I have hands-on experience in project management. When they ask more detail, then you say, after campus, I went and I was involved in 1 to 3 in the Juakali sector. I was able to, have a oversight over 5 projects, and this is how they delivered. You see, so you can always turn them around. But then I'll tell you this, and maybe this might break some people's hearts. Very few organizations will ask you for your degree. They would want to see it. Very few. It's good that you have it, but very few will say, unless we see it, we'll give you the job. Very few. So institutions, it is important for you to have those skills, but if you do not have it, it shouldn't lock you out from a job. Okay. Morris is asking, is it okay to tell the company that in future you want to run your own company? Like will they not take it as competition? No, you don't need to mention it right now. Because one, you are new, you don't have skills. You know what you think you know, you most likely do not know. So you could be there saying, I want to run my own company. Hold your horses for now. First, go in, learn from those guys, pick the lessons, and then now you can advise yourself if you can actually take the leap and and do be on your own. So I would advise you, if you can, learn from the company, because every interaction you get with organizations, with companies, is to build your skills, is to build your soft skills, to build your your people management skills. So I would advise you, don't tell them that I want to set up my company like yours, but depending on how you get in and you learn, then now you can weigh if it's a discussion you can bring up. If not, hold your horses, my friend, hold your horses. Okay, how many
Eunice, just a minute. There's someone else whose hand is up. We can respond to that, then we'll go back to the question. Waweru, go ahead. Unmute.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My question is, in a scenario where a certain, maybe an organization has given a timeline for people to send their CVs, what's your advice? Are you supposed to maybe like send your CV so early, or maybe should you wait for the deadline? When you're approaching the deadline, when is the best time?
Okay, so definitely do not apply on the day of the deadline, because that is the day that your network will fail. That is the day that you will discover there are typos. Don't apply. So that one is out. Don't apply at that end. Although I see organizations saying we are accepting applications on a rolling basis. Well, that means if they sent out an application, let's say July 1st, on a rolling basis means those who apply on the 1st of July, they get to review. Those who apply on the 2nd of July, they get to review, like that. And then by the time the deadline is on the 14th of July, they close it. Then now they can go back and say, of these 100 we received, we've shortlisted 20, which came in on a rolling basis. So while it is good for you to apply immediately that job comes out, you remember what I said, most likely when you see a job now and you apply, you will not do a good job. So I would say, and it depends also with how soon you get to see the job, because we could have been posted on the 1st of July, but you saw it on the 5th of July. That does not mean that you are late, so you shouldn't apply. Apply when you see it. My reasoning is, the moment you have a job description that needs you to apply, give yourself 24 hours. Okay. So regardless, whether it is 24 hours to the deadline, but please, if you can apply just before the deadline, give yourself 24 hours. What this 24 hours does is you get to internalize that job and ask yourself, do I actually want to work with these guys? Even if you are desperate, give yourself 24 hours. So if you got the job at, it's 10:10, give yourself till tomorrow. At that time, at 10:10, or that's actually, yes, it is 24 hours. You could even give yourself 36 hours, just so that you can go through it. Don't be in a rush to apply. Please do not, if the temptation is there, you can easily do it from your phone. Please do not be in a rush to apply. You will be disappointed. That's why you'll get regrets. And I know this because by the time I got my second job from campus, I had applied 36 jobs. Horrible applications, nonetheless, horrible, because I used to see something on my phone in bed, I didn't even look through what these guys needed, I just applied. So back to your question, Waweru, if you can apply soon enough, well and good, but the moment you see a job application, give yourself 24 to 36 hours, internalize, and when you're internalizing, you're reviewing, you're doing your research so that you can see if you can see yourself in that organization. Yeah. I hope that is answered.
Obliged.
Yeah. Okay, sawa. I see, do we go to Joshua? I see he's asking how many references should one have in the CV? On a maximum, have 3. Make sure that there's a gender balance. Make sure that you have a woman, a man, or 2 men, 1, whichever, but make sure there's gender balance so that different people will say different things about you. So don't just have your lecturers, have where you did your internship, something, so that you have people who can speak to you in different ways. Do not include your relatives. Do not include your father. Do not include your sister. Do not include, if you're married, do not include your husband. Please do not. Include people who know you on a professional level. The temptation will be there. I mean, they could say nice things about me. Do not, because they will clearly see Eunice Kilonzo, and my reference there is Mr. Kilonzo something. Don't be that person. Yeah. Websites, I think Lily has provided that. How to answer the question on salary expectation. Rachel will tell you this. How to answer that question on salary expectation will all come down to your research. If you do not know anything about the organization, you could be asking for very little or too much. So you need to do your research, and your networks again is your network. Because if you see a job at Safaricom, for instance, I might not entirely know how much they are paying, but I will tell you for this grade, they usually pay between this level to this level. Or you're applying to the UN and they tell you, Eunice, I need to apply for this job at UN Women. How much should I say as my salary expectation? I may tell you, and online, actually, I'm just putting a website here. It has nice for salary expectations, salary ranges. It's called Glassdoor. So Glassdoor, basically, you go in, you put in the name of the organization that you are interviewing with. Let's say if it is Barclays. So if you put Barclays, and then you can even include the title of the job, and you'll get people who've worked at Barclays in that level, and they'll say, we've been paid, when we got in as graduate assistants, we were paid 50,000 Kenya shillings. And then after 1 year, it was reviewed to 100,000. So when you're going to speak, when they're asking you for the salary expectation, you will know what you can say. So yeah. So that's how you can answer your salary expectation. And then also, sometimes some of these jobs, organizations put some of their pay online. Sometimes they even include it in the job description so that, you know, if they say for this job you'll be paid 125,000, you don't go there and tell them I want to be paid 250,000. They already said how much they're paying. So watch out. And that's why I'll tell you, take your time. 24 to 36 hours, research, look them up, know what they are about. If there's someone in your networks, and LinkedIn helps this a lot. On LinkedIn, you see someone who works at Brookside, write to them, tell them, I'm applying for this job. I'm curious about, is there anything I should know about them? Is there a salary range? Something like that. So then you can get a sense, yeah, so that you don't undersell yourself and you don't oversell yourself and people are wondering, who is this person? Don't they know us? So yeah.
Eunice, before we take that last question from Joy, I'll ask Dinelle to ask her question. Dinelle, please unmute.
So hey,
hi.
I was asking, in like my field at school, I'm doing a course that is some sort of wholesome film technology. Like I learn a lot of things at the same time. After the 4 years, I'll be required to like specialize in one thing, maybe production, directing, all those things. So which one is more advisable? I finish the 4 years and then I go into the job market, do something for some time, and then go back to school and specialize, or maybe finish the 4 years, specialize, then go look for a job.
Maybe just tell me what course are you studying?
Film technology, theater arts, and animation.
Okay, so film technology, theater arts, and animation. So I would tell you this. First of all, what are you passionate about? Of those three things, what is the one thing that you will do if they don't get any other opportunity, and that's the only thing you can do? You will be okay doing it, whether you're paid or not, it's voluntary or not. That will help you narrow down to, if it is animation that you're fascinated about, if it is direct, whatever. Pick. So this is how I'll give you like a checklist. Pick what is your most innate passion. For me, I'll tell you, I do multimedia communications, but at the heart of my hearts, it's writing. So if everything else does not work out, maybe I can continue my writing. But that does not stop me from doing video. I'm doing video. I am recording on my phone. I am editing on my phone. That does not stop me from recording podcasts. I can do it, So you need to identify where your heart, and you know this. You're probably just listening and you're like, oh yeah, I know. I exactly know which one I like. Then the second level for you to make that decision, you need to ask yourself, look at the market trends. What are people looking for now that they were not looking for before that you can offer? You will know animation is something that is rising, but animation on its own cannot stand. Animation has to be paired up with copy, so that's text. It has to be paired up with, so you need to be able to say, which of these can I specialize in, and which of these will give me the best returns in the current job trends? And the third level, I will tell you, in as much as it is good for you to specialize and be known for one thing, it is the generalists who are ruling the world. Okay, you could be you could be a film director and you only want to get into film and all that. But the people who are ruling the world are generalists. These are people who have a sense of the bigger picture. They can tell, oh, I can bring in film directing into animation, and then I can combine it with writing, and then so being able to see the bigger picture. I'll tell you, specialize when you can. For me, I specialize in health writing, health journalism, health communication. And once I knew I had learned that skill, I told myself, now that I'm a specialist in that, I need to build additional skills so that if I am to get a job beyond the health settings, I can still work. Hence how I got into UNEP, because I started writing about science, about other developmental issues beyond health. So the same thing for you. One, your passion should guide you, because that is, you live with yourself. At the end of the day, if it works, it doesn't work, you live with yourself. So your passion should direct you. Secondly, look at the market trends. What are people looking for? Can you get into that area for a short while, and then you can go back to your passions? And then thirdly, think like a generalist. You could have the specialties, but also be aware and alive to other skills as well. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. So we can move on to Joy Katani's question, and then Maria.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, Joy is asking how to answer about strengths and weaknesses. Wow. Okay, so most guys, people will say, oh, my strength is that I'm attentive to detail, and then your cover letter and your CV is not attentive to detail. You have failed. So you need to show all of these things. You need to show instead of telling. When someone says, oh, I can work under minimum supervision, we have to look for us to know what you're up to. It's not a strength, okay? So you need to be able to show how you show it. You don't just tell us. So when someone is saying attentive to detail as a strength, you'll say, because my team knew that I have a keen eye for grammar, or and my awareness of attentive to detail, I was in charge of editing the final reports before the donor sees them. You've shown us that skill. When you're talking about your weaknesses, so I know people will tell you, oh, you can talk about your weakness and then turn it around. And most times people will say, I'm a perfectionist and da-da-da. It's very common for people to say that. Be honest. When you're talking about weaknesses, you can say, sometimes for me, my weakness is that I trust my teams to be able to deliver in good time. However, sometimes the people drop the ball. As the manager, I am able to, having a helicopter view of things, I'm able to step in, I'm able to check milestones so that if something is not delivered in good time, I'm able to call it before it becomes a problem. So you can you don't have to make your weakness look like it's horrible, you can't be salvaged. No, turn it around so that it shows that, what you're learning also, you make mistakes. And you could even talk about, one of my weaknesses was keeping time. And however, because of online meetings, I've been able to set a reminder 20 minutes before time so that I'm there. So you turn it around. You don't look like you cannot be helped. Yeah, so turn it around, and be truthful. Don't use what other people have said. Oh, I'm a perfectionist. Everybody says they are a perfectionist, but most of us are not perfectionists. Most of us are really good at what we do. Perfection, if it comes, well. So you be truthful. Look at yourself and then speak about it. For your cover letter, what Maria is asking, for your cover letter, what font size should one use? I would recommend for the one page, don't go for your cover letter 11 to 12. Font is good. Don't do 14, because 14 points means that you do not have content, so you're trying to fill the page. Don't go 14. So 11 to 12. Don't go 9, because that is too little. It will be too strenuous. It won't be legible. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Eunice, for that very informative session. Before I invite Edwin to give us a vote of thanks, there's something I'd like to maybe bring to our attention, and I think you had mentioned during your presentation, that is the scam jobs. Right now, even if people are not just taking details from your CV, they've gone ahead and become and inflict physical injury to people, you know, the kidnappings, or you're asked to come with your laptop and then you're told to leave. I don't know whether you've read those stories. So even on the lookout for jobs, please do not be desperate. Do due diligence. If you don't trust those people, please go ask a friend to take you. We want you to be okay. Yeah, Edwin, you can give us the vote of thanks. Edwin is our program manager also. Yeah, my colleague.
Good morning to all.
Morning.
A very good morning indeed. I deem it a great honor to propose a vote of thanks for this wonderful occasion. Let me first start by giving glory to Almighty God for making this occasion a resounding success. I'd also like to thank our special guests, Eunice and also Sheila, for honoring us with a well-presented and informative session. This vote of thanks will not be complete by thanking Lily, our marketing and communication manager, for organizing this meeting, and it was a very wonderful session for our students, and thanks again to one and all present. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you, Edwin, for that. So I think Eunice, we're done here. Thank you so much. She's put her email on the side chat. I know Eunice is very reachable, so please reach out to her, disturb her. She's given you that permission. Yeah, thank you so much. You guys have a great weekend. See you next time.
Yeah, I'm also just including another link here so you can get all my stuff in one place. It's my Linktree account, so you can get all my details in one place. So thank you once more, Santeni Sana, for your time. I wish you all the best. Don't be scared. I mean, the world is out here. Opportunities are countless. As Lily said, be safe. Don't go with your laptop. They ask you, I mean, do not. Tell them you can do it virtually. And if you even have a tinge of concern, reach out, find out from people, and you'd be surprised how many people are know that organization, or who knows someone who knows someone who knows that organization. So always consult. Don't do things in secret, because the moment you're robbed, it will be public. The moment you kidnap, it will be public. So please make sure, let people know. It's the least you could do for jobs. Yeah, and people could tell you that organization, it's they usually do that and they don't hire people. So you just reach out. Don't keep things in secret. Yeah. Asanteni sana. I will leave you guys. Yeah. Have a blessed day.
Eunice, just a minute. So I don't know whether there's any student who would like to give a vote of thanks. I'd like to give this chance to one student to give a vote of thanks. Just lift up your hand. Maria. Maria?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I just wanted to thank you so much, Eunice, because this information that you have given us has been really helpful. And thank you so much. And I hope that we can be able to talk to each other and we can be able to guide us through this job market thing. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Karibuni sana.
Okay, thank you. Bye, everyone. For real. Bye.
Bye. Bye.